I don't know if you have to be done in those like war. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Right.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,
Ready for the last. Oh, I still have.
Oh,
I think some. Very good. Hare Krishna. Kunji and Mataji Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
हरे कृष्णा रश्मि माता जी, ललितमोहन प्रभु, काम्या माता जी, Lavanya, Deepa माता जी, Dandap Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining today. We'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangam langayate girim yakrupātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Om Apavitra Pavitro va Sarva Vasangato Piva Yasmaret Pundari Kaksham Sabhashya Abhyantaram Sujihi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayo Divivachakshuratatam Sadviprasa Vipanyaho Jagruhamsa Samindate Vishnum Yat Paramam Padam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Srila Gurudeva Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. So we are reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita Volume 1, 20th chapter. What is the 20th chapter? Anybody remembers? Nice title, okay?
Some high.
Yeah, that is okay. Yes, high, what is that? Yes. Anybody? Staying high forever.
Yeah, still.
Stay high forever. Yes, we'll start from here. Let me read for some couple of paragraphs. Deepa Mataji, can you run the call after 30 minutes? 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
Today I'm on phone, Prabhuji, actually.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, I'll continue. Irving Halpern, I make flutes and I play musical instruments. There are all kinds of different instruments that I make. When the Swami came, I went up and started playing, and he welcomed me. Whenever a new musician would join and play their first note, he would extend his arms. It would be as though he had stepped up to the podium and was going to lead the New York Philharmonic. I mean, there was this gesture that every musician knows. You just know when someone else wants you to play with them and feels good that you are playing with them. And this is very basic kind of musician communication was there with him. And I related to it very quickly. And I was happy about it. Lone musicians were always loitering in different parts of the park. And when they heard they could play with the Swami's chanting and that they were welcome. Then they began to come by one. A saxophone player came just because there was such a strong rhythm section to play with. Others, like Irving Halpern, saw it as something spiritual with good vibrations. As the musicians joined, more passerby were drawn into the Kirtana. Prabhupada had been singing both lead and chorus, and many who had joined now sang the lead part also, so that there was a constant chorus of chanting. During the afternoon, the crowd grew to more than 100, with a dozen musicians trying with their kanga and bongo drums, bamboo flutes, metal flutes, mouth organs, wood and metal clackers, tambourines, and guitars to stay with the Swami. Hare Krishna. We will continue. Lalit Mohan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sadhan Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Irving Harpen. Irving Harpen. Okay. The park resounded. The musicians were very careful in listening to the mantras. When the Swami sang Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, there was sometimes a Krishna, a tripling of what had been a double syllable. It would be usually on the first stanza, and the musicians really picked up on it. The Swami would pronounce it in a particular way, and the musicians were really meticulous and listened very carefully to the way the Swami would sing. And we began to notice that there were different melodies for the same brief sentence. And we got to count on that one regularity. Like one would count on the conductor of an orchestra or the lead singer of a madrigal. It was really pleasant, and people would dig one another in their ribs. They would say, "Hey, see, we would catch and repeat a particular subtle pronunciation of a Sanskrit phrase that the audience, in their enthusiasm, while they would be dancing or playing, had perhaps missed, or the Swami would add an extra beat, but it meant something. In the way in which the drummer, who at the time was the Swami, the main drummer, would hit the drums." Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, Deepa Madhuri, continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Ganesh, I have reached Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Okay. I have talked to a couple of musicians about it, and we agreed that in his head, this Swami must have had hundreds and hundreds of melodies and had been brought back from the real learning from the other side of the world. So many people came there just to tune into the musical gift, the transmission of the Dharma. Hey, they would say, listen to this holy monk. People were really sure there were going to be unusual feats, grandstanding, flashy levitation, or whatever people expected was going to happen. But when the simplicity of what the Swami was really saying, when you began to sense it, whether you were motivated to actually make a lifetime commitment and go this way of life, or whether you merely wanted to appreciate it and place it in a place and give certain due respect to it, it turned you around. And that was interesting too. The different ways in which people regarded the Kirtana. Some people thought it was a prelude. Some people thought it was a main event. Some people liked the music. Some people liked the poetic sound of it. Then Allen Ginsberg and Peter Orlovsky arrived, along with some of their friends. Allen surveyed the scene and found a seat among the chanters. With his black beard, his eyeglasses, his bald spot, surrounded by long, black ringlets of hair, Allen Ginsberg, the poet patriarch, came to join the chanting, greatly enhanced the local prestige of the Kirtana. Prabhupada, while continuing the ecstatic chanting and drum playing, acknowledged Allen and smiled.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Kamya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
A reporter from the New York Times dropped by and asked Allen for an interview, but he refused. A man should not be disturbed while worshipping. The Times would have to wait. Allen. Tompkins Square Park was a
hotbed of spiritual conflict in those days, so it was absolutely great. All of a sudden, in the midst of all the talk and drugs and theory, for some people to put their bodies, their singing, to break through the intellect eyes and come out with total bhakti. That was really amazing.
Continue.
The blacks and Puerto Ricans were out there with the drums too, doing conga. But here was a totally different kind of group, some of them with shaven heads, and it was interesting. It was a repetitious chant, but that was also great. It was an easy chant to get into. It was an open scene. There was no boxed corner there in the actual practice. So, general smiles and approval and encouragement as a beginning of some kind of real communal get together in the park with a kind of serious underbass for exchange instead of just hog dog on the drums.
This one last.
Prabhupada was striking to see. His brow was furrowed in the effort of singing loud, and his visage was strong. The veins in his temples stood out visibly, and his jaw jutted forward as he sang his Hare Krishna for all to hear. Although his demeanor was pleasant, his chanting was intensive, sometimes straining, and everything about him was concentration. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Lavanya, continue.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. It
Yeah, Hare
was
Krishna.
not someone. Yeah, it was not someone else yoga retreat or silent peace vigil, but a pure chanting be in of Prabhupada's own doing. It was a new wave, something everyone could take part in. The community seemed to be accepting it. It became so popular that ice cream vendor came over to make sales. Beside Prabhupada, a group of young blonde-haired boys, 5 or 6 years old, were just sitting around. A young Polish boy stood sharing. Someone began burning frankincense on a glowing coal in a metal strainer, and the sweet fumes billowed among the flutists, drummers, and chanters.
Continue.
Swamiji motioned to his Swami motioned to his disciples that they got up and began dancing. Tal tin Shadi Shah. His black pockets stuffed with stay high forever flyers, raised his hands and began to dance. Beside him in a black turtleneck, big chanting beads around his neck, danced Achyutananda, his curly, almost frizzy hair long and disarrayed. Then Brahmananda got up. He and Achyutananda stood facing each other, arms outstretched, as in the picture of Lord Chaitanya's Kirtana. Photographers in the crowd moved forward. The boys danced, shifting their weight from left foot to right foot, striking a series of agilic poses, their large red chanting beads around their necks. They were doing the Swami step.
This one.
Brahmananda said, once I got up, I thought I would have to remain standing. Once I got up, I thought I would have to remain standing for as long as Swamiji played the drum. It will be an offense. I thought if I sit down while he's still playing, so I dance for an hour. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Madhavi Mataji. Madhavi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Dandavati.
Yeah, please read. Dandavati.
Yeah. Prabhupada gave a gesture of acceptance by a typically Indian movement of his head, and then he raised his arms, inviting more dancers. More of his disciples began dancing, and even a few hippies got up and tried it. Prabhupada wanted everyone to sing and dance in Sankirtana. 1 second, Prabhuji. Yeah, Sankirtana. The dance was a sedate swaying and a stepping of bare feet on the rug, and the dancers' arms were raised high, their fingers extended toward the sky above the branches of the autumn trees. Here and there throughout the crowd, chanters were enjoying private ecstasies. A girl with her eyes closed played finger cymbals and shook her head dreamily as she chanted. A polished lady with a very worn face and a babushka around her head stared incredulously at the girl. Little groups of old women in kerchiefs, some of them wearing sunglasses, stood here and there among the crowd, talking animatedly and pointing out the interesting sights in the Kirtana. Kirtana Kirtanananda was the only one in a dhoti, looking like a young version of Prabhupada. The autumn afternoon sunlight fell softly on the group, spotlighting them in a golden glow of long, cool shadows.
Continue. One more.
Yeah. The harmonium played a constant drone, and a boy wearing a military fatigue jacket improvised atonal creations on a wooden recorder. Yet the total sound of the instruments blended, and Swamiji's voice emerged above the mulling tones of each chord. And so it went for hours. Prabhupada held his head and shoulders erect, although at the end of each line of the mantra, he would sometimes shrug his shoulders before he started the next line. His disciples stayed close by him, sitting on the same rug, religious ecstasy visible in their eyes. Finally, he stopped.
Haribo. Nice. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Prabhupada.
Sapam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Immediately he stood up, and they knew he was going to speak. It was 4 o'clock, and the warm autumn sun was still shining on the park. The atmosphere was peaceful, and the audience attentive and mellow from the concentration on the mantra. He began to speak to them, thanking everyone for joining in the Kirtana. The chanting of Hare Krishna, he said, had been introduced 500 years ago in West Bengal by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare means, O energy of the Lord. Krishna is the Lord. And Rama is also a name of the Supreme Lord, meaning the highest pleasure. His disciples sat at his feet, listening. Raya Rama squinted through his shielding hand into the sun to see Swamiji, and Kirtanananda's head was cocked to one side, like a bird who is listening to the ground. He stood erect by the stout oak, his hands folded loosely before him in a proper speaker's posture, his light saffron robes covering him gracefully. The tree behind him seemed perfectly placed, and the sunshine dappled leafy shadows against the thick trunk. Behind him, through the grove of trees, was the steeple of St. Bridget's. On his right was a dummy middle-aged woman wearing a dress and hairdo that had been out of style in the United States for 25 years. On his left was a bold-looking hippie girl in tight denims, and beside her a young black man in a black sweater, his arms folded across his chest. Next was a young father holding an infant, then a bearded young street sadhu, his long hair parted in the middle, and two ordinary short-haired middle-class men and their young female companions. Many in the crowd, although standing close by, became distracted, looking off here and there. Stop, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Raj Prabhu, what is your situation? Hearing mode or reading?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm in hearing mode, Prabhuji, because
Okay.
I'm sitting in counter.
Okay.
There's some. Sorry, Prabhuji.
No problem. Yes. Hearing mode, it's okay. Rashmi Mother also hearing mode. Let me read again. Prabhupada explained that there are three platforms: sensual, mental, and intellectual. And above them is the spiritual platform. Sensual, mental, and intellectual. That means sensual means 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses. Mind means mental, and intellectual means intelligence. Beyond that, soul, spiritual platform. The chanting of Hare Krishna is on the spiritual platform, and it is the best process for reviving our eternal blissful consciousness. He invited everyone to attend the meetings at 26 Second Avenue and concluded his brief speech by saying, "Thank you very much. Please chant with us." Then he sat down, took the drum, and began the kirtana again. If it were risky for a 71-year-old man to thump a drum and shout so loud, then he would take that risk for Krishna. It was too good to stop. He had come far from Vrindavana, survived the non-Krishna Yoga Society, waited all winter in obscurity. America had waited hundreds of years with no Krishna chanting. No Hare Krishna had come from Torias, or Emerson's appreciations, though they had pored over English translations of the Gita and Puranas, and no Kirtana had come from Vivekananda's famous speech on behalf of Hinduism at the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893. So now that he finally had Krishna Bhakti going, flowing like the Ganges to the sea, it could not stop. In his heart, he felt the infinite will of Lord Chaitanya to deliver the fallen souls. He knew this was the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his own spiritual master, even though caste conscious Brahmanas in India would disapprove of his associating with such untouchables as these drug mad American meat eaters and their girlfriends. But Swamiji explained that he was in full accord with the scriptures. The Bhagavatam had clearly stated that Krishna consciousness should be delivered to all races. Everyone was a spiritual soul, and regardless of birth, they could be brought to the highest spiritual platform by chanting the holy name. Never mind whatever sinful things they were doing. These people were perfect candidates for Krishna consciousness. Tompkins Square Park was Krishna's plan. It was also part of the earth. And these people were members of the human race. And the chanting of Hare Krishna was the dharma of the age. Haribo. Lalit Mohan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Walking back home in the early evening, past the shops and crowded tenements, followed by more than a dozen interested new people from the park, the Swami again sustained occasional shouts and taunts. But those who followed him from the park were still feeling the aura of the ecstasy that easily tolerated a few taunts from the street. Prabhupada, especially, was undisturbed as he walked with his head high, not speaking. He was gravely absorbed in his thoughts, and yet his eyes actively noticed people and places and exchanged glances with those whom he passed on his way along 7th Street, past the churches and funeral homes, across First Avenue to the noisy, heavily trafficked Second Avenue, then down Second, past liquor stores, coin laundries, delicatessens, past the Iglesia Alianza Cristiana Missionera, okay, the Kohinoor International Restaurant Palace, then past the Church of the Nativity, and finally back home to number 26. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Continue, one more.
Okay. There was a crowd of people from the park standing on the sidewalk outside the storefront. Young people waiting for him to arrive and unlock the door to the matchless gifts. They wanted to know more about the dance and the chant and the elderly Swami and his disciples who had created such a beautiful scene in the park. They filled the storefront outside, on the sidewalk. The timid or uncommitted loitered near the door or window, smoking and waiting or peering in and trying to see the paintings on the wall. Swamiji entered and walked directly to his dais and sat down before the largest gathering that had ever graced his temple. He spoke further of Krishna consciousness, the words coming as naturally as breathing as he quoted the Sanskrit authority behind what they had all been experiencing in the park. Just as they had all chanted today, he said, so everyone should chant always. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu. Deva Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. అక్కడి నుంచా ప్రభుజీ అలాంగ్
Yeah.
హెడ్ నుంచా
Yes. What I'm trying.
A girl sitting close to Swamiji's dais raised her hand and asked, seemingly in trance, when I am chanting, I feel a great concentration of energy on my forehead, and then a buzzing comes and a reddish light. Just keep on chanting, Swamiji replied. It will clear up. Well, what does the chanting produce? She seemed to be coming out of her trance now. Chanting produces chanting, he replied. Just as when you're calling the name of your beloved. If there is someone you love very much, then you want to repeat his name again and again. It is out of love. A man spoke up without raising his hand, but isn't it just kind of hypnotism on sound? Like, if I chanted Coca-Cola over and over, wouldn't it be the same? No, Prabhupada replied. You take any word, repeat it for 10 minutes, and you will feel disgusted. But we chant 24 hours and we don't feel tired. Oh, we feel new energy. The question seemed more relevant today. The guests had all been chanting in the park, and now they were probing philosophically into what they had experienced. The Swami's followers marked this as a victory, and they felt some responsibility as hosts and guides for the others. Swamiji had asked Kirtanananda to prepare some prasadam for the guests, and soon Kirtanananda appeared with small paper cups of sweet rice for everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Continue, Chenapa.
Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, Kamya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The chanting process is just to cleanse the mind, said Prabhupada. We have so many misunderstandings about ourselves, about this world, about God, and about the relationships between these things. We have so many misgivings. This chanting will help to cleanse the mind. Then you will understand that this chanting is not different from Krishna. A boy who was accompanying the long haired girl spoke out incoherently, Yes, no, I. Prabhupada, yes, yes, yes. In the beginning, we have to chant. We may be in whatever position we are, it doesn't matter. If you begin chanting, the first benefit will be Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The mind will be clear of all dirty things, and the next stage will be that the sufferings, the miseries of this material world will subside. Boy, well, I don't quite understand what the material world is because, Prabhupada, the material world is full of sufferings and miseries. Don't you understand that? Are you happy? Boy, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm not.
Completely.
Prabhupada. Okay. No, you're not happy. That sometimes is your imagination. Just like a deceased man says, Oh, yes, I am well. What is that? Well, he is going to die and he is well. Boy, I don't claim any ultimate happiness. Prabhupada. No, you do not know what happiness is. Boy, but it's greater or lesser. Prabhupada. Yes, you do not know what is happiness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hansini, please continue from here.
An older man standing with his arms folded near the rear of the temple. Well, of course, that sorrow or that suffering might add the spice to make that suffering that goes in between seem happiness. Prabhupada. No, the thing is that there are different kinds of miseries that we all understand. It is only due to our ignorance that we won't care for it. Just like a man who is suffering for a long time, he has forgotten what is real happiness. Similarly, the sufferings are there already. For example, and he directed himself to the young man with his girlfriend. Take for example that you are a young man. Now, would you like to become an old man? Boy, I will become an old man in the process of Prabhupada. You will become means you will be forced to become an old man, but you don't like to be an old man. Boy, I'm not going to be forced to become an old man. Prabhupada, yes, forced. You will be forced. Boy, I don't see why. Prabhupada, if you don't want to become an old man, you will be forced to become an old man. Boy, it's one of the conditions of Prabhupada. Yes, that condition is miserable. Boy, I find it not miserable. Prabhupada, because you're a young man, but ask any old man how he is suffering. You see, a deceased man. Do you want to be deceased?
These are
Boy,
discussions.
I would.
Prabhupada with that boy, okay? Read.
Yes. Boy, I wouldn't search it out. Prabhupada. Boy, I wouldn't search it out. Prabhupada. No, just answer me. Do you like to be deceased? What is disease? Prabhupada, just answer. Just answer. Boy, what is disease? Prabhupada. Oh, you never suffered from a disease? You have never suffered from a disease? Prabhupada looks dramatically
Incredulous.
incredulous. Boy, I have I have had the mumps and measles and whooping cough, which is what everyone has, and you get and you get it over it. Some people in the audience laugh. Prabhupada, everyone may be suffering, but that does not mean that it is not suffering. We have to admit that we are always in suffering. Boy, if I have never known happiness, I feel sure I have never known suffering either.
Last paragraph. Prabhupada.
Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, everyone may
No, that is.
not able to. Okay. Prabhupada, that is due to your ignorance. We are suffering. We don't want to die. But death is there. We don't want to be diseased, but disease is there. We don't want to become old. Old is there. Old age is there. We don't want so many things, but they are forced upon us. And any sane man will admit that these are sufferings. But if you are accustomed to take these sufferings, then you say it is all right. But any sane man won't like to be deceased. He won't like to be old, and he won't like to die. Why do you have this peace movement? Because if there is a war, there will be death. So many people, so people are afraid. They are making agitation. There should be no war. Do you think that is very pleasurable thing?
Okay. Thank you, Ansari. Thank you. Madhavi Mataji, please continue these dialogues.
ఏం చెప్పారు ప్రభుజీ ప్రభుపాద boy, I have never experienced. Prabhupada, you have experienced and forgotten. Many times you have died. You have experienced, but you have forgotten. Forgetfulness is no excuse. Suppose a child forgot some suffering. That doesn't mean he did not suffer. Boy, no, I agree. I agree. Prabhupada, yes, so suffering is there. You have to take direction from realized source, from authorities. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. This world is full of miseries. So one has to realize it. Unless we understand that this place is miserable, there is no question of how to get out of it. A person who doesn't develop this understanding is not fully developed, just like the animals. They do not understand what misery is. They are satisfied.
Continue. Finish.
It was late when he finally returned to his apartment. One of the boys brought him a cup of hot milk, and someone remarked they should do the chanting in the park every week. Every day, he replied, even while half a dozen of people were present. He lay down on his thin mat. He continued to speak for some minutes, and then his voice trailed off. Preaching in fragmented words, he appeared at 2 doors. It was 10 o'clock. They tiptoed out, softly shutting the door.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
This is the thing. Yeah, this is a very nice statement, Srila Prabhupada, what he's saying. Let me read one more time. Yes. So suffering is there. You have to take direction from realized souls, from authorities. Authorities like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This world is full of misery, so one has to realize it. Unless we understand that this place is miserable, unless one understand that this place is miserable, there is no question of how to get out of it. One has to experience, one has to feel that, oh, this is miserable life, prison life, prison. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is a prison for the body. A person who doesn't develop this understanding is not fully developed, just like the animals. Animals, they don't have that consciousness. They do not understand what misery is, and they are satisfied. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Continue, Lavanya. Okay. October 10, 1966. It's 1966 conversation. Continue.
Just I'll read after one person.
Sapan Prabhu. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. October 10. It was early. Swamiji had not yet come down for class and the sun had not yet risen. Satswarupa and Kirtananda sat on the floor of the storefront reading a clipping from the Morning Times. Satswarupa. Has the Swami seen it? Kirtananda. Yes, just a few minutes ago. He said it's very important. It's historic. He especially liked that it was the New York Times. Satswarupa reading aloud. Swami's flock chants in park to find ecstasy. 50 followers clap and sway to hypnotic music at East Side ceremony. Sitting under a tree in a lower East Side park and occasionally dancing. 50 followers of a Hindu Swami repeated a 16-word chant for 2 hours yesterday. It was more than 2 hours. For 2 hours yesterday afternoon to the accompaniment of cymbals, tambourines, sticks, drums, bells, and a small reed organ. Repetition of the chant, Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta says, is the best way to achieve self-realization in this age of destruction. While children played on Hovings Hill, a pile of dirt in the middle of Tompkins Square Park. Hovings Hill, Kirtananda. I think it's a joke named after Parks Commissioner. Satswarupa. Oh. Hovings Hill, a pile of dirt in the middle of Tompkins Square, or bicycled along the sunny walks, many in the crowd of about 100 persons standing around the chanters found themselves swaying to or clapping hands in time to the hypnotic rhythmic music. It brings a state of ecstasy, said Allen Ginsberg to the poet, who was one of the celebrants. For one thing, Allen Ginsberg said, the syllables force yoga breath control, that one's psychological explanation. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Now, Lavanya. Are you able to read? Ansini?
Yes.
Yeah, you read and then we can wrap it up and then sloka recitation. I will end up by 9 o'clock, okay? So late I think.
Yeah. Satswarupa and Kirtananda laughing, they said, it's nonsense. The ecstasy of the chant or Maha Mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kirtananda said, the Swami said that's the best part because they have printed their mantra, it's all perfect. Whoever reads this can be purified just the same as if they had chanted. Satswarupa, continuing. Dash has replaced LSD and other drugs for many of the Swami's followers. Mr. Ginsberg said. He explained that Hare Krishna, pronounced Hare, is the name for Vishnu, a Hindu god, as the bringer of light. Rama, pronounced Rama, it is the incarnation of Vishnu as the prince of responsibility. What? Where did he get that? It sounds like something out of an encyclopedia. The chant therefore names different aspects of God, Mr. Ginsberg said. Why so much from Mr. Ginsberg? Why not Swamiji? Another, can I continue?
Continue.
Another celebrant, 26-year-old Howard, M. Wheeler, who described himself as a former English instructor at Ohio State University, now devoting his full name to the Swami and said, I myself took 50 doses of LSD and a dozen of peyote in 2 years and now nothing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. We'll recite RudraGita. Okay. 1 second. Thank you very much for reading today. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Lilamritam ki jai. It is this one. I'm just sharing RudraGita. Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. And
52.
Yes, Prabhu. 52.
ఒకసారి 51 ఒకసారి
Shall I
నేను చేస్తా ఒకసారి చెప్పండి.
श्यामश्रोण्यधिरोचिष्णु दुकूला स्वर्णमेकलम् समचार्वङ्घ्रिजङ्गोरु निम्नजानु सुदर्शनम्.
Jai. Nice. Shyamasroniyadirochisnu tukula swarnamekalam samacharvangrijangoru nimna janu sudarshanam. Translation చేస్తాడు నెక్స్ట్ మీరు 52 చెప్పండి. The lower part of the Lord's waist is dark and covered with yellow garments and a belt bedecked with golden embroidery work. His symmetrical lotus feet and the calves, thighs and joints of his legs are extraordinarily beautiful. Indeed, the Lord's entire body appears to be well built. అందమైన రూపం అనమాట. భగవంతుని అందమైన రూపాన్ని ఎవరు వర్ణిస్తున్నారు? రుద్రగీత. Lord Shiva is meditating on each part of Supreme Lord's body and explaining here. So nice. Over to you, Prabhu. 52.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Madhurys. This is the most important shloka of RudraGita. Why? Because it describes the lotus feet of the Lord. Till now, he was describing about different bodily parts. His smile, his abdomen, his thighs, his calves and all these things. His earrings, his kaustubha, everything is done. But at last, when he comes to his lotus feet, see the tone, meter, everything changed. Till now, the meter of the shlokas is different and this meter of the shloka is different completely. Why? Because the lotus feet has come. See, if you see the trilogy like Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, Brahma and Maheshwara means the Ishvara, the Rudra. Both of them are praying to the lotus feet in a different ways. So Rudra here prays about the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And in 10th canto, 14th chapter at the end, Brahma prays. Okay, Brahma also prays about the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna after the Brahma Vimohan Leela. So at the end of the shlokas, that is just last but one shloka, 10, 14, 58 or something, Prabhu. What does he say? Brahma, what does Brahma says? Samashritaye padapallavaplavam. I forgot, I'm sorry. Okay. But it ends like this. Padam padam yat vipadam natesham samashritaye padapallavaplavam bhavam bhavo shudasya. Okay. Over there, the lotus feet of the Lord is described that it is the only hope and it is the only boat to cross the material ocean. And how much the material ocean will become if you take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord? Calf's footprint, right? And here, Lord Rudra says, Padasharat Padmapalasharuchisha Nakadyubhirnoantaradham vidumrata. Okay, what does it say? Padasharat Padmapalasharuchisha. Pada means your lotus feet. See, yesterday what we have discussed about his thighs and his calves, right? Even though it is black, it was covered with a golden garment and mekhalam, a golden belt, and they are perfectly symmetrical and they are very beautiful. That's how we have described yesterday. That Rudra was describing yesterday. We have discussed it yesterday, and today he came to the lotus feet, and here everything changes. The tone, the meter, the mood, everything changes when it comes to the lotus feet of the Lord. So it says that this is the most important shloka of the whole this thing. Why? Because it's describing about the lotus feet of the Lord. Padasharat Padmapalasharuchisha Nakadyubhirno antar adham vidunbata Pradarshaya Sviyam apasta sadvasam Padam Guru Marga Gurustamojusham. Prabhuji, this will take a bit time, Prabhuji. So even though if we understand only the meaning of this today by 9 o'clock, we will recite it tomorrow. Is that okay for you, Prabhu?
Yes.
because it is Pada Padmas. Okay. So the first line, if you see, Pada Sharat Padma Palasha Rochisha. You know, Pada means the first word, it means the lotus feet of the Lord. How it appears? Sharat Padma Palasha Rochisha. Rochisha means very beautiful. Sharat Padma Palasha. Padma means lotus flower. Okay. Palasha means the petals of the lotus flower. Of which season? Sharat. Okay. So as per Indian calendars, we have 6 rutus, right? 6 seasons and 12 months. Every season carries 2 months. Okay. That's how our seasons are divided. So if you see, the most famous Ritu of Krishna is, Krishna likes one Ritu very much. What is that? Sharad Ritu. If you see the RudraGita also, that is 10:21. It starts like this. Itham Sharad Swachha Jalam Padmakara Sugandhina Nyavisad Vayuna Vatam Sago Gopalako Achyutaha. What does it say? The settled waters of autumn. We have 6 seasons, right? I'm sorry, I will be explaining all these things to you so that you can understand why this autumn season is very important, or why this Sharad Ritu is very important, and why Krishna chooses this season particularly. See, it starts with the monsoons. Okay, monsoons Ritu is known as Varsha Ritu. In the Varsha Ritu, there will be a lot of murkier water. Water will be completely, mixed with the mud. Okay, the waters are very murky. Then what happens after 2 months of the Sharad, Varsha Ritu, waters will get settled down. All the dust will get settled down. The brown waters will turn into the crystal blue. Not now, but during those times when there was no environmental disasters. Okay, the dust would be settled down. Then it will be a crystal clear blue waters. That is the season when the lotus will come. Okay, and sunshine will be completely pure. Means in Sharad Ritu, the reflections of the sun will be very much pure than in other Ritus. Okay. After Sharad Ritu, which one will come? Hemanta. Okay. And after Hemanta Ritu, what will come? Shishira. Hemanta means pre-winters. Okay. Like Kartika will be, our Kartika will be 15 days. Kartik month will be 15 days in Hemant Ritu, 15 days in Sharad Ritu. So after this Hemanta, what will come? Shishira. Now you will find many names, many Odia names. Shishirakant Das, Shishirakant Panda. Shishira means the coolest person ever. Okay. Shishira means very cool season. And after Shishira comes Vasanta. Means all the what is it? Leaves and all, they will start dwindling. They'll start coming out from the trees. And after Vasanta comes Grishma. Grishma means hot summers. Okay. So these are how 6 seasons are divided. Of all these 6 seasons, what is the most clearest and what is the most perfect season where you will not get any hot or cold? That is Sharat. So if you see, we celebrate a festival known as Sharad Purnima. Why it is on the season of Sharad? Because it is the perfect season where the temperatures will be perfect and you can do the things perfectly. So Krishna's timing will generally be Sharad Ritu. Okay. So Pada Sharad Padma Pala Sharochisha. So that lotus flower petals of which season?
Autumn.
Sharad Purnima.
Yeah, Sharad. So the Sharad season is very, very important. Okay. In all our Vrindavan pastimes, most of the pastimes has been done in Sharad only. Many of them are done in a different things also. But Krishna, if he wants to give some personal time to someone, he will do it in this season. Okay. And how does Rudra sees? The second line he says, Nakadyubhir no antar agham vidunvata. Nakadyubhir. Nakadyubhir means, see, from your nails, from the nails of this lotus feet, a rays were emanating. Okay. And what does this rays are doing? No antar agham vidunvata. Inside the heart of our people of this material world, there is agham vidunvata. Okay. What is he doing? There will be a lot of dust inside it, and he is cleansing this dust because of that rays which are emanating from the nakadhyubir. Naka means nails. The effulgence from that nails is actually cleansing the dirtiness in the heart of our material, attached people. Pradarshaya swiyamapasta sadvasam. Pradarshaya means now Rudra is requesting Lord. Pradarshaya means you please just show your form. Swiyam means your own form. Apastha sadvasam. By seeing which the troubles of all this material world will just vanquish away. Okay. The first two verses, the first two lines, Lord Sankarshana, Lord Rudra was actually praising Sri Mahavishnu's lotus feet in a way that, how they are visible. The lotus petal of lotus flower in the Sharat Rutu. That's how beautiful they are. Your lotus feet. And the shine or the light which is emanating from the nails of this lotus feet is actually eradicating all the dirtiness in our heart. So this is how two lines are completed. Third line, he requests Lord to show your form. Why? Apasta sadvasam. To diminish the trouble of this material world. Okay, he is requesting the Lord now to show your form. Padam Guru Marga Guru Samodhita. How you should be visible, how you should come into this material world in a form of spiritual master who actually removes all the sufferings of this ignorance of the people of this material world. Okay, so lotus feet of the Lord, what does it do? The shine, the brilliance from that nails will actually remove the dirt in the heart. And the other things, now he's requesting Lord to please show your form. Whoever sees your lotus feet, to please show them your form by which all this material world's hankerings will go away. And he is telling, you will come in the form of a spiritual master and you will take all the sufferings of this material world of a Baddha Jiva. So this is the meaning of this shloka. Prabhu, it's already 9.
ఫినిష్ చేయండి, ఇంకో లైన్ ఉందా?
Over, Prabhu. All the 4 lines over.
ఒక్కసారి నేను ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చదువుతాను ప్రభు, ఓకేనా?
Yeah, one devotee can read synonyms and one devotee can read translation, Prabhu.
నేనే వేస్తా ఆ డివోటీని, ఓకే? ఆ డివోటీ కాదు కానీ
Yeah, you do both the things and then you can wrap off.
ట్రయింగ్ టు బి డివోటీ, మరి నేను డివోటీని ఏం కాదు. ఓకే, యా. పద బై ద లోటస్ ఫీట్. శరత్ autumn. Padma lotus flower. Palasa petals. Rochisa very pleasing. Naka nails. Dubhihi by the effulgence. Na our. Anta agam dirty things. Vidunvata which can cleanse. Pradarshaya just show. Swiyam your own. Apasta diminishing. Sadvasam the trouble of the material world. Padam lotus feet. Guru O supreme spiritual master. Marga the path. Guru spiritual master. Tamajusam of the person suffering in ignorance. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, your 2 lotus feet are so beautiful that they appear like two blossoming petals of the lotus flower, which grows during the autumn season. Indeed, the nails of your lotus feet emanate such great effulgence that they immediately dissipate all the darkness in the heart of a conditioned soul. My dear Lord, kindly show me that form of yours which always dissipates all kinds of darkness in the heart of a devotee. Just a minute. In the heart of a devotee. My dear Lord, you are the supreme spiritual master of everyone. Therefore, all conditioned souls covered with the darkness of ignorance can be enlightened by you as the spiritual master. Krishnam Vande Jagadguram అనేది ఉంది కదా. So that also, Krishna is the original spiritual master. From him only everything comes. Okay. And one more thing, just want to share. Indeed, the nails of your lotus feet emanate such a great effulgence that they immediately dissipate all the darkness in the heart of conditioned soul. My dear Lord, kindly show me that form of yours which always dissipate all kinds of darkness in the heart of a devotee. Actually, this one ఒక verse ఉంది కదా ప్రభు. పద అరవింద ముఖారవింద అనే ఒక verse ఉంది కదా. నాకు ఆయన భగవంతుడు ఒక పిక్చర్ ఉంటది. భగవంతుడు అదేంది ఒక పదార విందం అదొకటి చూపించి నేను క్లోజ్ చేస్తాను కాల్. లెట్ మీ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ క్విక్లీ. నైస్
గోవింద దామోదర్ మాధవేది ఆర్ యు స్పీకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్?
కాదు, పదార
అదే గోవింద దామోదర మాధవేది.
పదార విందం
అదారవిందం వినియోగంతం. దట్ వన్
ముఖారవిందం అనుకుంటుంది కదా.
ముఖారవిందం వినివేశయంతం. That's how it starts. I forgot things. But it is Govind Damodar Madhavi.
అదే
Vilamangal Thakur.
దొరికిందిలేండి, చూపిస్తాను. షేర్ చేస్తాను, సౌండ్ రావట్లేదు. లెట్ మీ షేర్ అండ్ క్విక్లీ అండ్ కెన్ ర్యాప్ అప్. షేర్ సౌండ్. వేర్ ఇస్ దిస్ గై? షేర్ సౌండ్. ఓకే.
పుటేశయాన్ करारविन्देन पदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटेशयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि. करारविन्देन पदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटेशयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि. करारविन्देन पदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटेशयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि.
जय.
विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटेशयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि.
Yes. Just a thought. Okay. A message. Let me see. Somebody put some message.
What is that, Prabhuji? What is that? 1008?
1008 same verse 1008 recite చేస్తున్నారు అంతే.
అచ్చా. Okay.
Same verse 1008 times recite చేస్తున్నారు. పద కరారవిందం. Okay,
so the image which you have shown, that is Vatapatra Sai. This is how he appears to whom? Markandeya Muni.
ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు కనెక్టెడ్ అనిపించింది అంటే, టూ లోటస్ ఫీట్ ఆర్ సో బ్యూటిఫుల్ అన్నారు కదా, అదొకటి. నెయిల్స్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ లోటస్ ఫీట్ ఎమనేట్, అంటే భగవంతుడి పాదాలు తననే చేస్తుండు కదా. దట్స్ వేర్ కొద్దిగా కనెక్షన్ అనిపించి. ఓకే డివోటీస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. ధన్యవాద ప్రణామ్. వాంఛాకల్పతరుభ్యశ్చ.
Krishna always thinking like, why all my devotees are thinking of my lotus feet? What is the special of my lotus feet? So he want to taste his lotus feet. That's what I heard somewhere. అందరూ నా పాద పద్మాల గురించి ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు, నా పాద పద్మాలను శరణ కోరుతున్నారు, నేను అసలు ఏంటి అని హీ వాంట్ టు టేస్ట్ అంట. So he was like, he's great too.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Lavanya, for sharing. Okay. Dandavad pranams. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitaya Gaur Hari Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Tomorrow we will read again translations as well as synonyms 2 more times and then recitation. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone.